Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last episode, we just finished part 1 of the trial. This episode, we're hopefully getting to the part 2 of the trial, so let's get started. November 2nd, 12:33 p.m. back in the old defendant's antechamber. Oh, there you are, Odo. What kept you, my dear fellow? Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Gina? You sure about what you said in there? That the boss, actually died the day before? It's pretty hard to swallow. Yes, I was shocked by the revelation too, Gina. As was I, possibly more shocked than both of you. It's not a competition, Mr. Sholmes. But I was more shocked than all of you put together. This is the autopsy report in question, is it? Yes, it's strange that there's no time of death noted. Who made the autopsy report? That's the question. Coroner Maria Gorey. Who's Maria Gorey? I want to know who that person is. I suppose there's a simple explanation, or perhaps it was a deliberate omission. Oh dear, if it was deliberate, it puts me in the mind of the last case we worked on, Dr. Seif. Yeah, I know. Anyway, it seems that on the day before Lord Von Zieks discovered his body, Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League, so perhaps something happened with them. Come to think of it, you had trouble with those League men too, didn't you, Mr. Sholmes? You were taken in by their trick. No. Naturally, I wasn't taken in, as you put it. My sleuth-hound interest was merely piqued slightly by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. And that scent masked the underlying scent of deception, I suppose. The two criminals in question are the pair we saw being arrested yesterday, aren't they? In Mr. Sholmes' suite, I mean. Oh, that's right, Suze. It was me what took him in. That's the tip of a good law-abiding citizen. Indeed, yours truly. So it's gonna be that pair in the witness stand next, is it? Something doesn't quite make sense to me, though. The day before Inspector Gregson was found, you hadn't had trouble with the Red-Headed League yet, had you? Why would the inspector have been investigating then? What a likely explanation would be that Gregson's own sleuth-hound interest was piqued by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. Oh, don't horror with him with the same with us as you, Sholmes. Yes, well, then there's the whole issue of Inspector Gregson being investigated by Lord Von Zieks for some odd reason. The Reaper, the Red-Headed League, Inspector Gregson, Lord Von Zieks, and Kazuma. I feel as though he knew we arrive at this point somehow. Then why did he made such a theory up that this was his hideout? Like, what was the point of that? Gosh, I think you're right. What's he really trying to achieve here today? All the answers will soon be revealed. Observe the time, my dear fellow. This research will be over very shortly. Yes, you're right. Kazuma was determined that he should be the one to prosecute this trial. And he was determined that I should take the defense. Just what is it that he's hoping to make me see, I wonder? I get the feeling we're a long way from the end of this trial yet. Are you ready then, Mr. Sato? Yes. (1 p.m.) Back to the courtroom. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed court of hearing Barack von Zeke's here present who stands accused of murder. And now then, Prosecutor Sugi. My lord, have you summoned the witnesses as requested? Ah yes, 2 members of the Red-Headed League who planned and carried out the deception. They arrived not long after from the local prison by the police carriage. Very good. Bailiff ushered the 2 men in the courtroom. These... what the fuck? Why is one of them These 2 men are currently being held by the police on suspicion of attempted extortion. You may omit your occupation, but state your names now for the court. I am Fabian de Russell, a descendant of the great Rousseau family from Nice in France. My name is Peppino de Rossi. I am the 3rd son of the great Familia de Rossi, the landowners from Napoli. The 2 men first became acquainted by a boarding school in European nobility. Those who graduate from Tenzing are the future leaders of Europe. But, do you have any idea how buoyant it is to be born with this noble blood? Alors, I'm making my mission to get the better of the world of employing the little gray cells of my brain. That is all I'm trying to do, So, that's the only reason for this whole grand deception you've been carrying out? Oi, you could say that. Not bad, eh? He has the grand ideals, but the petty plans. This strange combination is a charm of the hilarious brothers. See, capo? Listen to me, Peppino. I have 2 things to say to you. Che? Are you about to tell me one of your grandi anecdotes, Ibaba? Firstly, I wanted you to stop calling me this capo. And secondly, we are not the hilarious brothers. This are serious business. Chibello, there it is. The capo's trampa card, the furrow brow. It is deep, capo? The furrow on the meaning of your words, I have no idea what the hell they're saying, because they're sounding French, of course. The court has been led to believe that under the banner of the Red-Headed League, you have conspired with swindle money from unsuspecting members of the public. Is this true? Oi, Sissa. What exactly was the nature of the deception with which you plan to defraud? Otherwise, I would explain it. No, capo. Leave it to me. As you see, we both have the vivid red hair, no? At school, we were teased for this without pity. The capo here, he was many times behind the schoolhouse crying like the Trevi fountain. Yes, as dogs, one day the world will respect us redheads. Every night he would bury his head in the pillow. Sis bien Peppino, enough, I will explain the rest. Ignore the background noise. The first step was the newspaper advertisement. 1 week before the plan was put into operation, we listed the same notice in every paper in London. Yes, we saw that notice. It was this one, I believe, entitled To the Red-Headed League. Oi, Sessa, I am honored that you have seen it. It states that the only condition for joining the league is having flame-colored hair, and that if you satisfy the interview panel and are made into the league, you could receive a weekly income of £4. Ooh, £4. On the date specified, red-headed hopefuls gathered in droves at a park specified in the advertisement. From each person present, this pair took an application fee of 5 shillings. And with the money to France, it was most elegant, none? No, it was most dishonorable. To be frank, I'm stunned anybody was foolish enough to be taken by such an obvious trick. The park was described by one witness as choked with red-headed folk like a coster's orange barrel.
and the day in which all these men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these two men spoke face to face with every single person present that day.
Oi, I've seen the more red-headed people in one day than I will see the rest of my life. See, and now, every time I see the couple's hair, I feel sick to my stomach.
Anyway, why have we been summoned here today? Sorry? The date for our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told. Naturally, neither of us these men have been told any details about this trial. They've only been shown that this photograph. Very good. So, Mr. Roussel and Mr. Rossi, you will now give your formal testimony for the court on the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph. And of course, we are always ready to help all.
Alright, let's check their testimony. The man in the photograph.
We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assembled in the park on Live Street that day.
But I don't recall the man in this photograph, eh, Capo?
None. I don't remember him. Obviously, he is dead now, but I assure you he was not in the park.
Aurora, this victim has nothing to do with us.
You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we caught in the first place. You've given sworn testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain? Oi, I'm quite certain. We did not interview the man.
No, but looking like this came to a park, this I can promise.
It must be noted that you've been arrested for such a grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances.
Oofa, with this attitude, we get a nowhere,
He's really a sulking now. This confidential document was obtained directly from the Scotland Yard. It records an entry from the inspector's private diary dating the day before the incident. It reads Lime Street, Red-Headed League, undercover.
I have the answer. Maybe there was another similar event in the park on the day in question, eh?
That is ridiculous.
Obviously. There's no question that Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League, which means it's quite possible that when he was killed, that's when he was killed.
Very well, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination now.
Yes, my lord. Alright, press everything. 1,000 people? That's a very big crowd.
It was quite the spectacle. Redheads from all over the capital.
See, the capo here, he has the magnetismo animale, eh? Nobody else can attract so many people. If I could be born again, I would be the capo.
All those people wanted the money, Peppino. The £4 per week. Are you suggesting that you spoke personally with all 1,000 applicants? Oi, that we did, but every one of them then paid us 5 shillings.
We take their names and take the money. We take their addresses as well.
That is not sus at all.
And then I tell them we take some days to let them know by a post finito, maybe 2 minuti per person. We start early in the morning and we stop late in the night.
So, you earned 5 shillings in one day? That's a small fortune. Who would have thought there was 1,000 such gullible redheads in London to start with? One of whom was a great detective with chemically altered hair. Fucking show him. He doesn't look all familiar.
No, I don't think so. This was a wig, eh? He was trying to trick us. Do not like the people who are trying to trick the other people.
Says the con artist. In between them that they interviewed 1,000 people with red hair. It would be unreasonable to expect him to remember every face.
No, senor. I may be small, but my memory is very large. I never forget a thing. In my opinion, I do not think this man was in the park.
But he's not going to give the court a definite, it seems.
Hey, Capo, you didn't see like a man like this,
We're trying to get more info out. Seriously. But according to what you've said, you spoke with 1,000 or more people that day. Oi, that's true. My eyes were burning by the end of the day. Surely then you can't actually remember every single face. How are you so certain that this particular man wasn't present?
Normally the red hair is very distinctive, eh? But now when you have 1,000 red heads coloring around, then it's just an eyesore. But if there was some other info you could give us, then maybe we would have called.
That is not the line, Peppino. Remember, we do not remember him. We are sure it's a fact, If there was a man with the red piece, but mustache did not match the color, then I do not think I could have forgotten him.
Cosmo said that two had been shown that photograph and they'd been only told nothing else at all.
Well, I fed him just one other detail about the victim, for example.
His name? I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had had red hair wouldn't help you remember this situation.
What if I told you that the man's name was Gregson? The man is a photograph. Is a Monsieur Gregson?
Yes. Names, they say are boring. I do not listen to any of them.
Oh.
I was not in the real interview. It was just for show. But I remembered the fake names.
That's right. This changes nothing. The man of the photograph was not there, as we have said.
I see.
Seems there is little be gained from pursuing this point further. Just tell them again what you said before, Peppino.
Si, Capo, si. I say it again and again. Aurora, this victim has nothing to do with us, okay?
We only have your word for that.
Si, but what else can we do,
It's true.
Oofa, we are not having much fun these days. First we are arrested, then we are shown the horrible picture of a dead man. Now you question every single thing we say. We are the victims here, okay? Eh, Capo?
No, you were caught carrying out a plot to swindle hundreds of innocent people.
You had to bring that up, eh? It's not fair. Eh, Capo?
You got caught, yeah? What do you mean by that?
Cavoto, you promised not to say, eh, Capo?
After we had taken the monies that day, should have left the country. That was my plan. I left the purchasing the tickets to the ferry to the Dunkirk to my companion here. But I bought them the wrong day. Oops.
See, but it is an easy mistake to make the 1st of 31st.
Both, I have not sympathy for you. We were an all day late for the boat because of your stupidity. And only because of this, that so-called great-legged detective caught us.
Capo, you know what I think?
This is the work of God. Is it a holy punishment? I say, let the... God. Peppino, for the last time, this is not an holy punishment. This is only your fault.
Ah.
Don't blame God for your unholy mistakes. You are making me sick with this anger.
Maybe I should make a mistake. When it's time to eat the pasta, no one is faster.
And I've seen the evidence.
They haven't told us much we already didn't know. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, if it was in the inspector's diary, it seems like he must have gone to Lime Street that day. And yet these two both claimed that they didn't see him. I have to say, they don't appear to be telling lies. Well, they are experts in deception. Don't forget, their styling plots was their specialty. They may be lying simply to avoid being implicated in this case as well.
Sure, if they were experts in deception, they wouldn't have been caught Well, yes, you do have a point there. It seems like to me we need more info. Definitely. I think it's that third statement that we have to, like, figure. I think it's the fish and chips that we have to question. His fish and chips. I can certainly appreciate that knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember this situation. What if I told you that the man was always munching on a packet of fish and chips? Do you remember a man who was eating incessantly? Well, not really. I was only looking at the heads of the applicants. Wouldn't have noticed the fish and chips and more than the caviar and smoked salmon. Oh, spaghetti, me, I love the spaghetti. Really, I had no idea. Tell us again what you said before, Peppino. Si, Capo, si. I say it again and again. Again. Okay, fine then, profession. So not the fish and chips, shockingly. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair would have had been a situation. What if I told you that the man in the red hairpiece wasn't actually a detective? The man is a photograph, a detective? Yes. It would appear that he found your notice in the paper suspicious and decided to investigate incognito. Sorry, but this changes nothing, huh? Excuse me. Something to add, Mr. De Rossi? See? I'm always adding something Parmesan, olive oil, pepper. What I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance? What did he just say about the detective? Yes, that. You'll keep your mouth shut, Peppino. You have said enough already. Well, why, Capo? What is the problem? There was a man who said, I'm an inspector from Scotland Yard. That's definitely that person, alright. Nani? Good lord! Ora! Explain this volte-face in your testimony, witness. It's simple. A man who was at the park said to us that he was an inspector. There was no such man. Maida, what are you saying, Capo? I have forgotten nothing. Just came to the park like this. Basta, Capo. Basta, you beat me on many things, but not to the memory and the meals. Like I said, when the time to eat the pasta, no one is a fasta. But you're inferior to me in every other way, so shut the hell up. Ugh! Tropta, the damage is done. Indeed it is, sir. Haha. Oi, there was a man who came to the park and he said he was an inspector from Scotland Yard. Or he looked like nothing like the man in the photo, he was something else. How can you be so sure? Because to start it is, his face was completely different. See, it's true, the man who came was a younger. His face was a clean shaven, his eyes were sadder, his chin was thinner. No resemblance whatsoever. Then he was not gonna be fooled. I took the obvious precaution, said to him, if you are really a detective, show us the proof. See, the Capo here, he doesn't take a no-nonsense, eh? But he was well prepared. He said he had identification. Identification? You mean official police inspector's identification? That is most unconvincing.
Sorry, my lord? Counsel, no incognito inspector would offer his identification for inspection. It's quite out of the question. Definitely. Why would he expose his true identity? It's clearly the papers were fake.
Septo Kappa, you are a genius. As we say in Italia, it takes a brief deed to recognize another, eh?
What happened after he announced he was a detective? He became very annoying. He said, "You are under investigation."
So I took his paper from him and chased him out of the park. It was fantastico, and look, here's the identification.
So you stole it from the man?
He had it coming. He made us very scared. He was not the one who he said he was.
Indeed, the person described does not appear to behave as a true inspector would. However, I believe it would be prudent for these identification papers to be entered into evidence.
But I like them.
Inspector's identification. Now let us return to the witness's testimony.
Alright, can we open it? At least? Well, I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. Yes, it definitely looks fake, doesn't it? Out of interest, what name is given? Probably just something plucked out of the air. It's Tobias Gregson. Wait, nani? This Scotland Yard insignia, it looks genuine to me. But how? And the department identification number details are all correct as well. Since when have you known those? Do you mean to say, I know it seems incredible, but yes. I think this is a genuine identification issued by Scotland Yard, but that's unbelievable. It's the real thing after all? Warrant card issued by Scotland Yard. If it's really fake, then why is everything so accurate?
Let us return to the witness's testimony.
Makes you wonder, what statement should we do? They haven't told us. Huh. It's nothing to do with you. So we have to present this new evidence, of course. Does it have anything to do with you? I mean, you got the warrant card. Let me see here. Oh, I got it right. I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very closely. Miss Lestrade?
Why Miss Lestrade? What is your intention here, counsel?
Is this really a fake, or is this genuine? That's the question, which we can't answer ourselves.
Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective will allow his or her identification to be stolen.
Hold it. Gina. That is the boss's, no question about... Really?
It can't be!
As I suspected. The undercover detective who attended the Red-Headed League's enrollment on the day in question was the real Inspector Gregson, carrying on an incognito investigation.
Zutarados! Ora!
But if the boss's identification has been stolen, he would have reported it straight away. I mean, was on always about me about it. If you lose summit, report it at once, he'd say. Could it be then? That the inspector was physically unable to report it? Physically? Eh? What are you saying?
Unable to? You're not suggesting.
Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had a chance to report his identification stolen.
No! Ora!
The defense posits that the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered at a different location. Do you two have anything to say about that? Wah! I know nothing. I know nothing.
Pull yourself together, Peppino. Bonjour, you can behave a little more like a master criminal, Zanzatnon.
Now I wish I returned to Italia.
Stop crying, Peppino, please. Otherwise,
Allow me, stop your whining and start the talking.
Well, I believe the court will need to hear your story and consider what greater I know nothing good, I don't know anything. But you will tell us everything, or face the worst possible outcome. Oh, you will dry your eyes and testify again about these identification papers and the precise circumstance in which you came by them.
For crying out loud. Stop crying. Detective and identification.
The truth is, we took him prisoner and we kept him the night in our secret hideout. Even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day, just in case.
We took the man's identification from him and shut him in a room next to ours.
There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm, and the next one we let him go.
He spent the night in a nice room. He was nothing like a prison, really.
This is outrageous. You imprisoned a man?
That is where... And there's no doubt you could have killed him, but... But no, no. It was not like a prison. He was a very comfortable and calm, happy. Eh, Capo?
It was never part of my plan, I swear it.
Oofa, so you think it was my fault, eh? Just because I got the date of the ferry wrong, a little a day?
Do not think it was your fault, Peppino, I know it.
No, per favor, Capo, is not fair.
We shall have plenty of time to squab me back at the prison, gentlemen. Oof, I don't believe this. How could I have been so early to detect him? Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination.
So on the day before the incident, Gregson spent the night confined in this pair's hideout. Why? Press every single thing. Do you realize what the hell you're saying?
You have to believe me, we never intended for that to happen. And I'm sure the detective did not intend it either.
Do you think?
But there was nothing else I could do.
See, nothing else. It was the first crime for the capo. He was at the end of his wits.
I have nothing to tell you but hold you before, Peppino. That is not that I describe a criminal mastermind. What about this hideout of yours? An old empty house behind the park on Lime Street.
We rented a place for 2 days. It was an inspired idea by the capo here.
An impulsive idea, I would say.
No, not impulsive, inspired. Eh, capo?
What am I supposed to say to that, Peppino?
It was in the house described that you confined Inspector Gregson, was it?
Oi. But you have to remember, I was under the impression that it was a pretender, not a real inspector.
That doesn't quite add up, though. If you didn't think it was a real inspector, there would have been no reason to take him prisoner, would there?
None, you are right, but we couldn't be completely certain.
Even though I didn't think it was... okay. Too scared? Why?
Because why had it come to the park, we didn't know. There was a chance that he had seen through to my plan.
And if that was the case, he would have gone straight to the police station and blow out a whistle on us. If he just was feigning to be an inspector, he was up to no good, without a doubt,
I think most people would agree that it's you two who are up to no good.
Well, see, you may be right. Eh, Capo?
The point is, we were not able to escape from England immediately, so decided we had no choice but to take the man prisoner. What I don't understand is why the inspector felt the need to show you his identification in the first place.
See, I asked myself the same question.
You were writing down the names with the address of the people who took 5 shillings from that day. I've forgotten what name he said, but the address it startled me.
See, address, Scotland Yard Homicide Division, he said.
Nani? He probably didn't like your face, Peppino. Anyway, I was not rude, I was just politely asking him why he said it. And that's when he started to say he was an inspector. Not long afterwards, he took out his identification. What was Inspector Gregson playing at? Tell the court what happened next. You took him back to your hideout, you say?
See, we did.
Why? Why did you took his identification? That being this identification book here, correct?
See, that is the one.
What made you believe that it was the forgery?
I never seen a real one, of course. But he was so suspicious, this a man. Although I was thinking it must be a falso, eh, Capo?
Oi, it is just as Peppino has said. We were convinced it was not genuine.
And so together the hilarious brothers we took the man the captain.
All we did was shove him inside a locked room. Then we made the preparation to transfer all the money.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
You really not heard him? What do you mean by a little tussle exactly? Both. It was nothing. A minor incident.
The false inspector was a real piece of the work, eh, Capo?
What happened?
Oofa, it was a disaster. We give him a nice room, and what does he do? In the middle of the night, he tries to escape through the ventilador.
Can you blame him? We chased him being served. We caught him again.
Can you blame us?
Wait, you didn't shoot the man in your haste, did you? Who do you think see off? Of course not. I simply caught hold of him again and took him back to the room. Excuse me. Mr. De Rossi, is there something wrong?
Eh? Me?
Something Mr. De Rossi just said to make you, well, it seemed to make you act even more strangely than usual. What was that all about?
Capo, at times like that, you don't want to have the capo after you, believe me. And I speak from personal experience.
Personal experience? That is enough, Peppino. There is no need to say more.
But the truth is, the night before we put the red-headed league plan to action, I was scared. It was not fair to the capo, but I tried to run away. It's a shame you didn't manage it. But the capo here, he came after me like the turbine, He dragged me back into the house, kicking and screaming. I had the bruises to prove it. Hey, Capo?
Bruises, you say?
You wanna see, huh? You wanna see my fantastical bruises?
That's enough for now, Peppino. No one wants to look at any part of you.
But what to do, I show you, or I don't. I show you, or I don't.
You do, now!
Aurora, if everyone wants to see it, then I do it.
What the?
Echo, you see? It's still very abysmal, eh?
That red ring around your neck. You got that when you were dragged back to the house?
See, the capo, sometimes he's very rough, and...
I said that's enough. Peppino's neck has nothing to do with what we are talking about here. You have my word. Yes. What is your opinion, counsel? About this red ring around Mr. Rossi's neck, I wonder... Does it matter?
important. Add it to your formal testimony. Sir Rossi, I'm gonna have to ask you to amend your testimony with the details about the mark in your neck. Hey, Capo, you see? Everyone is interested in what I say, huh? Ugh. Very well, you will amend your testimony as requested, Mr. Dodossi. See, if you really want to know. He tried to escape, but the Capo put the collar on him and dragged him back like what he did to me, see? Are you saying that red mark was caused by... See, a big collar from the made-up letter. Huh? Letter? A letter collar. Is this true, Mr. DeRosa? Correct. We had Saint Bernard at home when he was younger. It was a souvenir from that time. It was a very strong chain. A strong chain? And you put that around your friend's neck. I'm sorry. I was so angry that it was leaving me alone. You did not have to tie the chain out of the leg of the bed, eh? Though, I will not try to run again. You didn't do that to Inspector Gregson as well, did you? Treat the people as equal, huh? Is the Capo's your motto, eh? It's starting to sound a lot more like a prison all of a sudden. Capos are tough, but the Capos are rough. Ugh, I shouldn't have done it. So, the following morning when you released the inspector, he had the red ring around his neck just like a me. Peppino, soup plus pla. Leave it now. Now you know, eh? The Capo here, you don't want to tangle with him, eh? But for the inspector, it's not so bad. Bet the night in the nice room was okay. You had the neck thing. You took away the man's freedom. How comfortable you make it sound you are still holding him prisoner. You say that and I say this. There's something that takes away our freedom too. The lack of money. We're the prisoners as well, and all of us. No money, no freedom, that is the truth. It makes me mad, it makes me very sad. Well, what can we do? Well... If you feel so disfranchised, take money to court and it'll cost you. Oh, of course. Oofa, there you have it. You see, that's why we need the Red-Headed League to fight for the justice. Perhaps he has a point. No, Mr. Naruhodo. All we did was give the man a comfortable place to sleep for the night. And you say he was a prisoner, huh? Perhaps he has a point again. No again, Mr. Naruhodo. She heard him snoring. My da, if anyone was disturbed, it was us. Not much to go on, really. Your testimony does make me wonder, you know. About his pocket watch belonging to the inspector, I mean. Ah, yes, the one he treasured so much, apparently. He was confined but not restrained, but as the witnesses are implying, he would have still been able to wind his watch. That's very true, yes. So did Inspector Gregson actually die while he was being held captive by these redheads? In which case, is it possible that these two young men are responsible for Inspector Gregson's? To be honest, I find that hard to believe. Perhaps we should try to find out exactly what had happened. Very wise, Mr. Naruhodo, yes. You check the court record. I'm trying to think right now. I know this photo... Vigil. Trying to think right now. What is the right phrase for this? Trying to think right now. Maybe it's the new phrase. There's something that's been bothering me. You said he has his neck thing, but I don't see it. Do you even see it? Yeah, that's the one that's really been bothering me right now. So... should I present it? Okay, I think I was right about that. So the day before his body was discovered, Inspector Gregson was taken prisoner while working incognito. No, it was not like that. It was hardly a prison, it was an invitation to say it was only. However you describe it, there's one glaring inconsistency that remains. What inconsistency is this, Counsel? I would ask the court to look closely at this photograph of the victim, Inspector Gregson. Of Inspector Gregson. You will see that there's no red ring visible around his neck, yeah. But that makes no sense. It was me who took the collar of the man in the morning. I saw the red bruises on his neck, and it's just like I have. Given that the mark is so clearly visible on this witness's neck, you expect to see bruising on the victim who was put in the collar more recently than Mr. De Rossi. Indeed, that is most peculiar. Is that a body fake? Well, I tell you, we say this from the beginning. Many times, Oi, Peppino's right. The man in the photograph is someone different to the man we held captives that night. Huh? Huh? Body double? Ora! It would appear then that on the day before the incident, the man who visited on the park on Lime Street posing as incognito inspector was not Inspector Gregson at all. Really? Then who was it? If that's true, however, how do you explain the inspector's identification? This is genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. It's inconceivable that someone could have stolen such an important item from the inspector. The prosecution made that assertion itself. And we also know that the inspector had made a note of the red-headed leak in his diary for that day. Surely means we can't divorce the two events completely. The inconsistency by the defense is most troubling. Who are the real Inspector Gregson whom these two-headed gentlemen encountered? But the fact that no bruising can be seen around his neck defies explanation. But equally, if they actually encountered an imposter, how did that person came to be in possession of the inspector identification? Does the defense have any plausible explanation, Counsel? Whole thing defies explanation. It is for precisely these occasions that we keep meticulous notes in the court record, Mr. Naruhodo. Those are the facts, and the facts cannot lie. No, and facts can't lie. Even when they point to something so incredible, it's almost unbelievable. Well, my lord, to do any of the person we turned up to the park for Red-Headed League's enrollment is revealed by the information in the court record, I believe. Good gracious! Very tantalizing, Mr. Naruhodo. Why did you help us all to see whatever truth it is that you apparently seen? Who exactly was this inspector that appeared before Mr. De Rossi and Mr. De Rossi? Okay. Imposter? Though it seems incredible, I admit, the undeniable facts point to only one thing. Since no bruising can be seen on the victim's neck, the person who these two red-headed took prisoner that day cannot have been Inspector Gregson. In other words, your whole argument up to now has been a waste of time. On the contrary, I haven't finished. Nani? There's no bruising on the victim's neck, so the question immediately posed next is, who exactly was this man in the park on Lime Street found to be carrying Inspector Gregson's identification? See, that's right. We tell the same story every time. Whoever this man was, the people dragged from the pillar of the post to the dog collar. Mondio Peppino, I was not harsh as you say, huh? It was not who was the false inspector, eh? Who was he? Clearly, the defense has an idea about that. But the true identity of the man who two imprisoned that night. I must ask the counsel for the defense to elaborate post haste.
Who did the witnesses encounter in the park was Inspector Gregson?
No way. He had that thing on his neck, too. Gossip? It has to be gossip, right?
Goodness me, isn't that?
One of the witnesses who was in the stand in this very courtroom earlier today. The nameless man whose only occupation seems to be peddling hearsay and passerbys. Or passersbys.
Who on earth would a street seller be doing with a police inspector's identification papers? Witnesses, is this the man or not? What a appendage to his lip.
See, this is the man that's not a red-headed league. He is looking for the twisted lip league, no?
Perhaps rather than making such a rash claim next time, you should bite your lip instead.
It seems probable, yes, but one undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, we saw his neck. I noted something around the man's neck, a red ring of bruising.
Eh? Nani?
The defense demands that Mr. Gossip be brought back to the stand.
Ora, bailiff! Bring the aforementioned witness back into the courtroom immediately.